Good, how are you doing?
Good, thank you. I'm Mercedes.
Nice to meet you. My name's Adam.
Nice to
Go ahead and
meet
take
you.
a seat.
Thank you. Here's my resume.
Thank you. All right, Mercedes, so how's your day been going so far?
Pretty good. How about yours?
It's been going good.
Good.
Really good weather outside.
I agree.
Yeah. All right, so can you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, my name is Mercedes Smith. I'm currently a sophomore at UVU studying business management. I've worked with multiple local businesses as a marketing assistant, which has allowed me to become more familiar with the marketing world. At a local Utah law firm, I was able to work on their marketing and increase their engagements up to 75% in the first 2 months by creating a specific target audience, engaging with clients, and more. And with this information, I want to help other companies grow, including yours.
Awesome. Sounds very promising, so let's just get right into the questions. Yeah?
Perfect.
Awesome. So tell me about a time you showed initiative. What prompted you to get started, and what were the results?
Yeah, so at my previous job, we worked with a lot of interior designers in the Parade of Homes, and a week before the Parade of Homes, we had a couple job positions or jobs that we were still trying to fill. And so one day I kind of just sat down and I decided to make a call to all the previous interior designers we decided to work with, but we hadn't heard from them this year. And so ultimately that actually led to us getting a couple jobs right before the show, and my boss was super happy with it, and I was able to work with them, and ultimately it just turned out really good.
Awesome. That's really cool.
Yeah.
With your clients, do you feel like you have to have a pretty good relationship with them?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it's very important to create a personal connection with each client so that they feel noticed and important.
That's awesome. Admirable. What do you feel you have to offer in this company above like the average employee when it comes to accomplishing your daily responsibilities and goals? Can you share a specific example?
Yeah, I feel like I always take one step ahead. An example I had is at a previous job interview, the one I was trying to get. I had interviewed, everything went great, and I decided to go home and I wrote a thank you letter just to say thank you, and I sent it to the assistant and to the boss, and I ultimately got that job, and they said one of the reasons I was set the most apart was because of that thank you letter. So I always like to think one step ahead and see how I can improve each situation.
That's awesome. That's really cool. All right, so tell me about a time when you didn't agree with a corporate strategy or initiative. What was the strategy? Why didn't you agree with it? And what did you do?
At a previous job, one of the benefits we did not get was paid holidays.
Okay.
And so instead of being frustrated about that, I actually talked to other employees and asked if there was the same problem they had, and they all agreed. And so we actually went and ended up talking to our boss, and we discussed it, and he ultimately decided that he would give us paid holidays as a benefit, and I felt that really taught me about communication and how important it is to communicate how you feel, just so you're better understanding everyone around you.
Awesome. I agree. Well, you get paid holidays here, so no worries.
Awesome.
Do you consider yourself pretty competitive?
I would, yeah. Yeah.
Could you describe to me your level of competitiveness and tell me about a specific situation where your competitiveness helped you achieve better results than your peers?
Yeah. One time I had a business presentation, and one of the things we had to do was just present about a business topic we had. And so I decided to take one step ahead, and I actually was able to, during my presentation, I created a video, and it had a little bit of humor in it. It was kind of relaxed, but it helped me be able to provide more details about my topic without getting too boring. And I actually got extra credit from my business professor, and he asked me to come back the next day and teach a short lecture on business presentations. So I felt like I kind of got set apart in my competitiveness there because I wanted to be able to get a good grade.
And also you made it for the crowd, like you make it like a light kind of comedic thing. That's awesome. So can you tell me about a time when you identified a new, unusual, or different approach for addressing a problem or task? How did you come to this solution, and what was the outcome?
At a previous job I had, I was a personal assistant and a receptionist, and I would take all of the calls for the office, and every time we took a call, we took the basic information of the client, and we also took more information if they were interested in being a client. And so I noticed we were kind of losing track of each client, so what I did was actually create a spreadsheet, and it would keep track of all the clients. It was online, it was super easy, and it ultimately led to it being the company policy for taking phone calls, and they still use it to this day.
That's really cool. How long did it take you to create that sheet?
About a week.
Would you be interested in doing something like that for this company?
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. That's really good news. Not saying you got it yet. But all right, next question. Think of an example when one of your customers was not pleased with something you or your team did. What was the situation and how did you recover?
So I actually had a client, the one where I worked for an interior designer, and she wasn't very happy with how the art she chose turned out. And so instead of us just pushing it aside and saying, oh, we'll give you a refund, we actually tried to come up with a solution. And so we went back to our work and we actually thought about what she would like, and we ended up picking over from hundreds of samples, a couple samples she would actually enjoy. And we gave it to her, we totally did it for free. And she was so happy with it, and she kept it in her home, and that actually got featured in multiple parade of homes as well. So it had a really good outcome.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
It did have a good outcome. Can you give me an example of a time when you successfully persuaded your peers to change their minds and follow your recommendations? What was the specific situation and results?
This one's kind of a simple one, but I was taking an accounting class, and I noticed the peers I was surrounded by, we were all not doing very well in accounting because that's a difficult class.
Mm-hmm.
And so I actually persuaded my peers that we get a study group together, and no one for some reason had a study group already set up in that class, so we set up a study group, and our group actually ended up getting one of the highest scores in the classes. So I felt like that kind of just taught me when I feel like I should take initiative, or I feel like I have an idea and it will ultimately better all of us, then it's something that I should do.
Very true, especially if it's something so simple.
Yeah.
Right. Can you recall a time when you were less than pleased with your performance? What did you do about it?
One time when I was less than pleased with my performance is I noticed I wasn't keeping track of my personal and work time. I had a trouble with time management, and I felt like I wasn't reaching my full potential. So I actually was able to kind of narrow it down. I looked up some TED Talks and everything about time management and stuff. And it actually really helped me. I was able to actually get my homework done on time, and at work I was getting more hours in, and at the same time I was getting more work put into those hours, and even my boss was noticing, and it was just really good to be able to feel like I was in control of what I was doing in my time.
That's really cool. Being aware is a very important thing. Describe a time when you elevated the level of value you brought to a customer over time. How did you accomplish this?
We had a customer who used to be a loyal customer, but some things had happened previously at the job before I came in, and she stopped working with us. And so she decided to give us one more shot. And so I really took that to heart, and what I did is it was for another artist, and so we ended up actually picking out artwork, but I kind of got put in charge of the job. So what I did is I actually went over, normally we do it over the phone, but I decided to go to her home and actually work with her, and we made it kind of more of a personal connection rather than a work connection. And she was so pleased with what happened. She loved everything that was put in her house, and it actually led to her being a loyal customer again, and she still comes back to us to this day.
That's awesome. That's a cool story. What was the most useful criticism you ever received from an immediate supervisor? How did you embrace this feedback and achieve a positive outcome?
As cliche as it sounds, I was told to learn from my failures. And so that was from a boss I had a long time ago when I first started working. And so I kind of took that to heart, and every mistake I've had in jobs, I've actually been able to learn from them, and instead of letting them tear me down and getting so frustrated, I've learned that it's okay to make mistakes in your jobs, and that's how you learn, and that's how you become a better employee, a better friend, a better person. And so with that, I've taken that into my life in all aspects of it, but specifically speaking work. Every time I have something I'm not happy with, I find solutions and ways to deal with it fast.
Awesome. Well, that is all the questions. You did a spectacular job.
Thank you.
Is there any more questions that you have for me about this company?
Yeah. Is there anything on my job application missing that you're specifically looking for this job position?
No, I think you got it all. You covered it all. It was
Perfect.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. Well, it was so nice meeting with you, and I just want to reiterate how excited I am that I got this interview, and I'm looking forward to hearing from you again.
Of course, we'll keep in touch.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mercedes.